Hello everyone, welcome to the channel Academy of Fine Learning. This particular class will learn regarding the method overloading in Java. How method overloading is done in Java programming language, what's the use of method overloading, what's the advantages of method overloading, and why you are going to learn method overloading, what are the different aspects of method overloading. All the things we'll learn over here in this particular session, and this tutorial will also help you achieving the same thing with a note. I'll provide the note in the description of this video, and from there you can learn the programs. You can get the programs which will be executed in this class, so you'll get the compiled code available with you, and you'll be also having this practical session in front of you. So let's start with that. This is the note we have. I'll open the note, and from this note only I'll teach you. So let's start with the method overloading. What's the concept of method overloading? Whenever the term method overloading will come, you should supposed to remember this particular point. If a class has multiple method, so the class should have more than one method with the same name, but difference in there are differences in the methods signatures, that is the parameters, the number of input parameters the method can take, that will be different. Then these methods with the same name and different signatures which resides inside the same class will be known as method overloading. Yes, so that's what the concept of method overloading. If a class has multiple methods, so all the methods, multiple methods should be defined inside the same class, having same name. So same name should be there, and difference in parameters. The parameters, the number of arguments will be different. Then it will be known as the method overloading. What's the advantages of method overloading? It will increase the readability of the program. So from the program, from a single name, multiple benefits you will get, and the readability of the program will be increased. So it's an example of method overloading, is an example of static polymorphism. Why is it supporting polymorphism? Because one single method, a single name, can do different tasks. Yes, and also it is known as the compile time polymorphism. Why it is compile time polymorphism? Because during the compile time, different signatures of the same method name is identified by the Java compiler, and based upon the particular signature of the method which you are going to call, a particular method will be called up, and that method's job will be done. So there are two different ways to overload a particular method with the same name in Java. By changing the number arguments is the first way, and the second way is to changing the data type. First way we'll see first, and then we'll see the second way with the programs. So we'll see the first way by changing the number of arguments. So we'll having the same method name, but the number of arguments will be different. In first method it may have one argument, then in the second method it may have no argument or more than one argument, for example. So start with that. In this example we have created two methods. First, one add method which will perform addition of two numbers, and second add method performs the addition of three numbers. So for adding two numbers, we'll be passing two parameters, and for addition of three numbers we'll pass three numbers. So in this example we are creating static methods only, so that we don't need to create objects of the class. So we are not going to create objects of adder class. We are going to create objects of test overloading one class. Rather, we are making the methods as static. Int add is having two different signatures. In the first signature, check it out what the first signature is. Return type is int, name of the method is add, first argument is integer a, and second argument is also an integer with the variable name b. The second method, all the things are same, but one more argument is there with the integer data type, and the name of the variable is c. So in this way, these two methods are same, having the same name but different signature. Signature means prototype or the syntax, whatever you say. So all the things, both the methods we make as static, because we can call a static method without creating an object of the class. So we are calling these two methods from here. Yes, and here we are using the adder. This is the name of the class, where the method resides. So this static method resides on the adder class. So adder class dot operator you are using over here and calling the method by its name, and we are passing the two arguments here, 11. Next example, in the next line we are giving three arguments, 11 and 11. Then what will happen, this particular line will call this particular method because it is also having two arguments in it, and for this it will call this particular method because in this particular method we have same name but three different arguments. So we'll get different results. We'll see that. Now we'll execute this in Eclipse and show you the output, how it differs. So here start with your hands-on practical session-based learning of Java. Please subscribe to my channel, Academy of Fine Learning. The down of the video, you can see that the subscribe button is there. Please click on the subscribe button to get all the other videos. So here, the name of the Java file is method overloading.java. So the class which have public static void main method should have the name of this particular class. Otherwise, it will throw an error. See this? If I execute, it will throw error. Yes, so I'll make change of the name method overloading. Now if you execute, not show any error. See this? What's happening over here is very simple. First of all, here as I explained, the two different methods are over here and declared over here also. Correct? Integer add. The name is same. Integer add. Integer add. Integer is the return type. Add is the name of the method. The first method has two parameters. Second method can have three parameters. Yes, and they are make static so that we can just call by the name of the class where the particular method is residing. So these two methods are defined inside the class adder. So you have to specify the name of the class and then dot operator, and then you have to call the method with the particular arguments. So if this line will jump the control to where, which line? Line number 3. Here, because this method is having two arguments, so it's matching. Two arguments are matching, so it will call this method. Then what will happen? Returning a plus b. Returning a plus b. So what's the value of the a plus b? Here 11 and 11, if you pass, it will be 22. So you will get return type is also int over here, so it will return you back 22, and that will be printed. That's what is done over here. And this particular line, when this particular line will be executed, line number 9 will be executed, then what will happen? It will call the control of the Java program to this particular line, line number 4, because this method is having 3 arguments. Correct? So it will jump to line number 4. Yes, it's very simple actually. This is how the method overloading happens. If we change the input, you can see that, okay, in this example, what's happened? 11 plus 11 plus 11, 33 is displaying. In this way, we can see that a single method with a single name, a method with the single name with different signatures are taken differently by the Java compiler based on the way we are calling it. If calling by 2 arguments, if we call this by 2 arguments, then the same result will come because both the lines will come line number 3. This particular method will be called by both. We change this 11 and 10, and here if we make 100, what will happen? The same thing will happen. This particular line will be called. This method signature will be called 21 and 121. We pass over here something. What happened? For this, and for this we are passing 3 arguments, so it is coming over to return a plus b, that is 11 plus 110 minus 30. 91 is coming. So this example is given for you with a static method so that it can be easily understandable to you. You can execute this program in different way. Method overloading can be executed without taking help of static also. Let me show you the thing. Let me wait. I'll put it inside the same class. That's possible. Why not? Definitely. Now there is no adder class, so I'll delete adder because it's resides inside the same class, right? So we don't need to provide the name of the class now. Directly the compiler can understand. Okay, I'll give the value over here 5 and 6. So first output should be 11, and give here 1 plus 10 9. So this will give 20 and first one will give 11 output. Correct? So now it's static. Still we have kept it static because it's in the we are not going to create any object of method overloading class. So we're not creating any object of this class. Correct? So we need to make it static still, but we have removed that particular class. The last class what we have na adder class that we have removed, and both the methods are defined inside the same class where the main function resides. We'll see this output. The output will be correct. There will be no compile time error. We'll get the output 11 and 20. Yes, if you wish to create without creating static, then what will, without making the overloaded method static, then also it's possible just to create an object. Object one. You have to use one, but you have to use the object to call this method. Then only it will work. Otherwise, not. With only one dot add, then you have to make it non-static. See this now. I'll execute the same thing. Okay, I'll give some other value. So your confusion in mind may be there that the last output is showing 5 plus 10 is 10 more. Okay, that now let's see. Correct. 15 is displaying for this and 25 is displaying for this. This method is calling over here and this method is calling over here. Correct. We can give these things in a separate way also. You can write in a formal way. I have written in a concise and to the space of the screen. So yes, now it's also executing properly. Correct. I can give it 25 and 10, and I'll changing the input now 25 10 10. Then it will be working correctly. Yes. So these two methods, although have the same name, is treated as different methods, and it is getting called this down how we are calling these methods. So it's very simple. This parameter, it is calling the method. That's the first example we have, and you'll get this program definitely in your note. Second way of method overloading is to change the data type of the arguments. Yes, the number of the arguments may be same, but the data type of the arguments may be different, and then also the method overloading will be happening. Now we'll see in this program, the same program will just extending now. Now I'll not show you different with getting object and not object. Same flow will work over here also. So just with the static will make it. The last example I made so that to make you clear that yes, it can happen in different ways. That's it. Now we'll execute this method overloading. So yeah, it's working now. So see this here. What's the difference I make over here? No other difference, na? Other than let me just make it format properly to make readability. Yeah, now we have this methods. This line number 4 one method is there, line number 8 one method is there. Both the method is having two arguments, correct? So the number of arguments are all same. In last program you see that number of arguments were different. First program there were 2 arguments, in the second, sorry, in the first method there are 2 arguments, in the second method there were 3 arguments. Here the number of arguments are all same. 2 arguments here and 2 arguments over here, but the data type is different. Here it is integer data type, and there it was, and here in this method it is double data type. Still these two methods will be taken as different methods based upon the input. So when you are calling it, here we are calling with the input 11 and 11, so it will call this method because it is having integer as an argument, and 11 is integer values. So here in this particular example in line number 16 we are calling the method add with the two double values 12.3 and 12.6. So this particular method will be called for that because the signature is matching. Here the arguments are of the type double. So it will work properly without any error. 22 and 24.9. So if I change the values, we can work also. Now, wow, it's working only. So this is an example of method overloading while changing the data type of the arguments of two different methods with the same name. The question is why method overloading is not possible by changing the return type of the method only. If we change the return type of the method, then will it happen? Yes or no? Here it is returning a plus b, so two double values is returning. So that's why we make it double. If any other method is there with the int over here, then also it will not be a method overloading. In Java, method overloading is not possible. Listen carefully. In Java, method overloading is not possible by changing the return type of the method. Yes, because some ambiguity will happen into Java compiler. I'll show you this example. Now, since this particular program, name, now it's to give no compile time error, right? But the compile time errors are coming. Why? Java compiler is telling that duplicate method add int in type adder. So Java is not checking the return types. See, if the number of arguments are same and return types are same, here in this in these two methods, the number of arguments and return types both are same. Correct? Yes. Inside whatever you write may be different. Still it will show error. The number of arguments and the data types of the arguments are same. Even if the return type is different and the content inside the method body is different, then also it can't recognize these two methods as these two different signatures of these methods for the method overloading. So these two methods will not be considered as method overloadable method. Rather it will be considered as same method. So Java is expecting that either you remove this or then there will be no error, or you change the number of data types. You make a single argument, then it will work. So yeah. Otherwise ambiguity will happen, that when you will call it, Java will not understand that how to differentiate between these two methods. When this line will execute, otherwise Java compiler won't understand that to call this line, that's line number 4's method or line number 5's method. Although name same, parameters are same, and data types are same. So there is no difference between these two methods. As simple as that. There will be ambiguity. To remove the ambiguity, what you can do, the only way is to make this method as overloadable method by what? By changing the number of arguments, or by changing the number of arguments, or by changing data types of the arguments. Yes, now this will work. Let me call another method. Parameterize pass some 1031. What to say? Now this method argument. Two arguments. The argument number should be different. The first point, or the data types of the arguments will be different. Return type doesn't matter whether it's same or different. Now we'll see that method overloading and type promotion. Yes, during method overloading, one type is promoted to the other. Yes, based on the typecasting's rule. Typecasting, if you have not seen my typecasting video, please look at this video. Please watch the video. So in typecasting, we know that the smaller data type automatically convert to the larger data type, but the larger data type will not automatically convert to the smaller data type. How is that? See here, the byte will be automatically converted to short will be automatically converted to int will be automatically converted to long. Yes, but the double will not be automatically converted to float, or double will not get automatically converted to long, because double is larger than float or long or even int, obviously. Yes, so as displayed in the above diagram, byte can be promoted to short, int, long, float, or double. The short data type can be promoted to int, long, float, or double. The character data type can be promoted to int, long, float, or double, and so on. Now see that the example of method overloading with type promotion. For example, we'll see that how type promotion will be happening. Yes, now I have changed the name of the class to our .java files. Here, object is used for calling the sum method. So with two arguments as you are calling, so this particular method will be calling, correct? Yes. Now second integer literal will be promoted to long because here second argument is long. So when you're passing 20 and 20, 20 is by default is taken by the Java compiler as int. So automatically as this method is having second argument as long, so this 20 which is by default taken as int will be converted to long because int is smaller than long and you will get the output. For this all taken as int because all three arguments are int only. This is an example of automatical conversion of one smaller data type to the larger data type in Java programs method overloading. So here in the same opposite thing that the example of method overloading with type promotion if matching found here. See here it is the method is matching. So we will see this. How is matching changes? Error 24. Watch this videos twice if you haven't doubt. Everything explained what is not pending. I am getting have doubt with the video after watching the entire video. So now here overloading is to new method overloading. So we must obj. Right? So this obj object is used for calling the method defined inside the body of the class method overloading with the value 20 and 20. Right? So these are the two different methods with the same name. Name of the method is same sum, but these two are the two different methods. Why? Because the data types are different. The first method we are using both are int, and here we are using both are long. So the number of arguments are same, but the data types are different. So yes, this is the example of method overloading because the data types is different, correct? So obj.sum is equals to 20 and 20. So now integer argument sum methods gets invoked because by default these two are int. So this will be getting called. Yes, int argument method invoked. So this particular thing is being outputted. So this particular line is called. So definitely as this two are integer by default by the Java compiler taken as, so this method will be called, this sum method will be called. So this particular line is getting printed as you are printing it using system.out.println, and not this method is working. This is not called. If we pass two long values over here, then this line number 5's method will be called. Example of loading type promotion in case of ambiguity. Yes, there are no type arguments in the method and each method promotes similar number of argument. There will be ambiguity. This program will throw a compile time error. Now you have to why it will throw a compile time error. The names. Now the program show any error. See, the method sum int long is ambiguous for the type method overloading. Yes, why so? Why this happening? See this, it will throw error if I run. The reason is very clear. Java can understand that you have some method with two integer arguments, but there is no methods defined inside the body of the class because you are calling using the object, right? So it is expecting that, and there are no other class also in this particular program. Both the methods are defined inside the body of the method overloading class, but both the methods, both the sum methods in line number 4 and 5 don't have int arguments. It has int long arguments in the first method, in second argument, and in the second method signature, it has long and int. So it can't understand, the Java compiler can't find out a method, a overloaded method or a single method with a int argument, two arguments while both are int, or one int, one long, and so on in this particular way. Yes. Yes, exception in thread main java.lang.error unsolved compilation time, unsolved compilation problem. the method sum int long is ambiguous for the type method overloading. Yes, so compile time error is showing why. If there are no matching type arguments in the method and each component promotes similar number of arguments, there will be ambiguity. Each method is promoting similar number of arguments, na? So there are ambiguity over here. Are you getting? Now the ambiguity. Now I'm trying to run. Wow. Now is calling because now the ambiguity is gone. I have commented this line. So now this int is taken as int and this long is this int is promoted to this long value, long p. So a method invoked. A method invoked is now displayed. As simple as that. Now I commented that and I'm taking line number 5. Okay. And I'm trying to run. Now you see that this particular method with the line number 5 is working. Void sum long a integer b. B method invoked. Why? Because this 20, which is integer taken by default by the Java compiler, is converted to long automatically because integer is smaller data time than the long. And this is anyhow taken as integer. There's no ambiguity to the compiler. Compiler can clearly understand that we have to make it promoted. So B method invoked is being printed into the output screen as we are printing over here. Otherwise, if we put the method over here, then it will throw a compile time error. Java compiler can't understand. You're creating an ambiguity to Java compiler. Yes, so that's what for the method overloading and its basic concepts. Please watch these videos and go through the entire video. Watch this video, get this program, and then run the program. You'll get this program in the description box, and from there you can execute. Thank you very much.